My mother's best friend had a rose embroidered in a hidden place. Only in the most intimate moments would that rose bloom. I always longed to see it with my own eyes. That seductive rose blooming. But Gu Qingli always rejected me until the year my parents passed away. She, 12 years older than me, took me in to care for me. She indulged me to the point where there were no boundaries. I wanted to repay her by offering my entire self. When she learned of my thoughts, Gu Qingli, who always loved me to the bone, slapped me across the face. Yi Chen, how could you have such a crazy thought in just one night? She withdrew all the love she had for me, then turned around and found a fiancé, and even made me attend their wedding. The next day, I hid it from her, changed my college application, chose a university over 5,000 kilometers away from the capital. Right after submitting my application, I heard the sound of the door opening. I turned my head to look back, just as Gu Qingli returned home. Her face was cold as usual. Seeing me, she still said nothing. But as she walked closer to me, I don't know what she suddenly remembered. She asked, "Today is the deadline for submitting applications. Have you finished yours?" I obediently nodded, answered, "Yes, sister-in-law." Hearing me call her sister-in-law, Gu Qingli froze. Since I was 16 years old, when my feelings were exposed, this was the first time I had called her sister-in-law again. Today, I didn't rush to hug her when she walked in, but sat properly on the sofa, keeping the appropriate distance. A strange feeling arose in my heart. She keenly noticed my change, but saw this change as good, that this was the right thing. She suppressed the strange feeling in her heart, withdrew her gaze from me, then asked, "You, filled in Qing University, right?" Is not a question, but a statement. Even though our relationship had become this fractured, unable to go back to how it was before, filling in Qing University was something we both tacitly agreed upon. Qing University was the top university in the country. More importantly, Gu Qingli lived in that city long before. She had already bought a house near Qing University, preparing for when I got into Qing University. We would move there together. Even though she now had a fiancé, that intention remained unchanged. She never thought I would leave. I heard the certainty in her words, my expressions slightly unnatural. After a long while, I finally bowed my head and replied, "Yes." Gu Qingli wasn't surprised by my answer. She made a sound of acknowledgement, then walked toward the study. Before leaving, she instructed, "Before enrollment, if you need anything, just find my assistant. He will help you, sister-in-law." I hesitated for a moment, was about to say something, when her phone rang. She took out her phone, looked at the name on the screen. Her face instantly softened. "Yunzhou, what's the matter?" A gentle tone I hadn't heard in a long time. She hurried into the study, no longer paying attention to what I was about to say. After a long while, I finally lowered my head in disappointment, swallowing back the words I was about to say. Actually, I hadn't filled in Qing University, but Hua University, the school furthest from this city. I am going to leave Gu Qingli soon. Sister-in-law, after I am gone, may you be happy forever. Looking at the time on my phone, 60 more days until enrollment. I opened the countdown app, set a countdown for 60 days until departure, watching each second and minute pass on my phone, the countdown getting shorter. I suddenly smiled. Sister-in-law, 60 days from now, you will be completely free from me. I put away my phone, then went back to my room. That night, I didn't sleep well. I woke up very late. After washing my face, I went downstairs to the dining room, but when I saw Gu Qingli sitting at the dining table, I froze. Normally, at this hour, Gu Qingli should have already finished breakfast and gone to the company. I deliberately woke up late, just to avoid her, but unexpectedly, Gu Qingli had been waiting for me here since morning. Seeing me finally come downstairs, Gu Qingli frowned and spoke, "Even if it's summer vacation, don't let your daily routine get disrupted." I didn't argue, just obediently nodded, while choosing a seat far away from her. She spoke again. "Later, my assistant will come to take you shopping for school supplies." I still just nodded, obediently. My silence made Gu Qingli take notice. She realized something was off with me, just as she was about to speak. I spoke first. "Sister-in-law, why haven't you gone to the company today? Going on a date with brother Yunzhou?" Hearing my question, Gu Qingli, who had been gentle, immediately changed her expression. Her voice unconsciously turned cold. "That's none of your business." The suddenly icy tone made me pause, but I immediately understood. She misunderstood the intent behind my question. Now I only see her as my sister-in-law. That question was just simple curiosity, nothing else. I was about to explain, when Chu Yunzhou pushed the door open and entered. "What are you talking about?" He smiled warmly, exactly like a gentleman. Hearing I needed to buy school supplies, he immediately volunteered to take me, acting like a truly caring brother. Qingli frowned, seemingly wanting to refuse. I was about to say it wasn't necessary, when Chu Yunzhou already patted his chest to Gu Qingli. "Qingli, we're engaged. I am Yi Chen's brother-in-law now. Let me be attentive for once." Gu Qingli obediently nodded, completely ignoring my opinion, looking reluctantly at Chu Yunzhou. "All right, then we'll go together." Watching Gu Qingli agree on her own, I lowered my head, swallowing back the refusal I was about to say. After finishing breakfast, I followed Chu Yunzhou and Gu Qingli to the shopping mall, bought some stationery, then went to the clothing section, bought a few more sets of warm clothes. Seeing me lingering in the winter clothing area, Chu Yunzhou was a bit surprised, finally couldn't help but ask, "Yi Chen, I heard from your sister-in-law that you're going to Qing University, studying right here in the city." Summers in the capital are very hot. You'll be enrolling in summer too. Why buy so much winter clothing? My hand froze. The capital's summer is indeed very hot, but the school I chose is not in the capital. It's in Frost City, the coldest place in the north. That place is cold year-round. I chose that place because Hua University is the farthest school from the capital. I still have plenty of summer clothes, so I am buying winter clothes in advance, getting it all done at once, to avoid trouble later. I maintained a normal expression, finding a casual excuse. Neither of them paid much attention. After buying clothes, Ju Qingli checked her watch. It was lunchtime. She decided to eat first. The group went to a restaurant. Ju Qingli took the menu and ordered a table full of food. The food was served, but I found it difficult to start eating. The table was full of spicy dishes that Chu Yunzhou liked. My stomach wasn't good. I've never been able to eat spicy food. But Chu Yunzhou saw me only eating plain rice, kept smiling brightly while putting food into my bowl, watching the white rice grains stained red with spicy oil. My expression couldn't help but turn unpleasant. Seeing me stop eating, Chu Yunzhou showed displeasure, looking embarrassedly at Ju Qingli. Does Yu Chen dislike me? He's not eating anything at the restaurant. Ju Qingli glanced at my bowl, coldly said, "Stop being picky. Eat quickly." Hearing her words full of warning, I looked at her deeply, suddenly remembering the times before when she had catered to my taste. I remember that time I accidentally ate too much spicy food, then came down with a fever, vomiting and diarrhea. She took me to the hospital that very night, stayed up all night taking care of me until the second day. When my fever broke, she finally rested. From then on, Jiu Qingli issued a ban. No spicy dishes were allowed in the house. Once the housekeeper was careless and made a mistake, she fired the entire staff immediately. Over the years, she truly pampered me a lot, but now, to please Chu Yunzhou, she ordered a table full of spicy food and forced me to eat it. Finally, I said nothing, silently ate that spicy food. As soon as the spicy oil entered my mouth, I choked and coughed continuously, but Gu Qingli seemed not to notice. Seeing me eat, she withdrew her gaze, shifting all her attention to Chu Yunzhou. Her attitude couldn't be clearer. After finishing the meal, Chu Yunzhou suggested going for a walk. Jiu Qingli didn't object, but my stomach felt like it was on fire. I waved to them. "Sister-in-law, you two go ahead. I am not going anywhere." Chu Yunzhou paid no attention to my refusal. He insisted, "Come with us. How can we leave you behind?" During the struggle, I broke into a gnashing sweat. My lips paled considerably. I weakly waved my hand, my voice getting softer too. "I am feeling a bit unwell. Want to rest for a while. Really not going." Hearing me say this, Chu Yunzhou finally stopped persuading, but then looked troubled. "Then well, take you home first, okay?" In the tense moment, Jiu Qingli looked at her watch, opened her mouth. "I'll call the driver to pick you up. I'll go for a walk with him." She made a decisive decision, told me to wait there, said in a while she would call the driver, then led Chu Yunzhou to a nearby park. But I waited there for a long time. The promised driver never came. Watching the sky gradually darken, I let out a bitter laugh. The villa area had few cars, couldn't get a taxi. Fortunately, the house was only 3 kilometers away. I gritted my teeth through the pain, walked home. As soon as I arrived, my stomach hurt unbearably. I ran to the bathroom, violently vomiting. After taking medicine, I collapsed on the sink, resting. My phone suddenly vibrated. I opened it to look. It was a photo from Chu Yunzhou. In the photo, clearly, he and Gu Qingli were kissing. But immediately after, the photo was recalled. Promptly, Chu Yunzhou sent a message. "Sent by mistake. Please ignore." Looking at Chu Yunzhou's message, I laughed coldly. If it were me before, I would definitely have been heartbroken seeing this. But now, I just replied with one sentence: "As long as you two are happy." Several days later, Jiu Qingli didn't return home. During those days, I continuously received messages from Chu Yunzhou, but I didn't reply because I was busy reorganizing all the gifts Jiu Qingli had given me over the years and busy arranging to sell my parents' old house. I gathered all the money, put it into a card. After enrollment, I will give this card to Gu Qingli as repayment for her years of care. After selling everything, I had nothing left to have enough for tuition. I started going out early, returning late, looking for part-time jobs because time was tight. The work was hard. To earn enough money, I worked 3 jobs a day, doing almost any dirty, tiring, or difficult work. Just a few days, and I visibly deteriorated. That day, I was working part-time, delivering goods, got an order to deliver a birthday cake. When I arrived at the address in the order, I realized it was Chu Yunzhou's villa. Only then did I remember today was his birthday. I hesitated slightly, not sure whether to deliver it or not, but the order was about to be late. I had to deliver the cake. Before going in, to avoid being recognized, I put on a hat and delivery mask, knocked on the door, was about to tell Chu Yunzhou to sign for it, when I was tripped by a foot that appeared from nowhere. I fell down along with the cake. The cake was completely smashed. Several friends who came with Chu Yunzhou all frowned, stepping back a few steps. How clumsy is this guy? Such a nice cake, now it's all ruined. I knew someone deliberately made me fall, but looking around, I understood no one would stand up for me. I could only repeatedly apologize, but the crowd surrounding me wouldn't let it go. Is an apology enough? This was a custom-ordered cake, 7 figures in price. Can you afford to compensate? The contemptuous words made my face burn red, but now I really couldn't afford compensation. I could only bow my head and apologize, but they still wouldn't let it go. Delivery guys like you, even if you sold yourself, you probably couldn't afford a tenth of the cake. Today is Yoonju's birthday. Let's not waste the cake. You, eat all of this cake. Well, let it go. Hearing their harsh words, Chu Yoonjo stepped in to mediate. The cake is dirty now. That's not very good. But the others burst into laughter. What's dirty about it? People like him probably haven't eaten such an expensive cake in their entire life. Yoonjo, you're too kind. He ruined your birthday party. We're not asking for compensation, just letting him broaden his horizons. He should be thanking us. Chu Yoonjo seemed persuaded, nodded and said, then eat all of this cake and clean up the floor. The words had just ended when Ju Qingli unexpectedly walked out. What's going on? The familiar voice rang above my head. I froze, bowing my head even lower. Afraid she would recognize me, the friends quickly exaggerated the story. Chu Yoonjo, afraid Gu Qingli would be upset, quickly added, we're not asking him to compensate for the cake, just telling him to eat all of it, so hell be more careful next time. Qingli, this isn't too much, is it? As he finished speaking, Gu Qingli's gaze rested on me. I felt like she recognized me, but a moment later, her voice rang out indifferently. Not too much. Those three cold words stabbed into my ears. My heart trembled violently, but I didn't raise my head, just facing everyone's eyes. Slowly, bearing the pain, crawled to the cake. Hearing the unending mockery around me, I said nothing, just bent down, ate each bit of cake on the floor. As I was eating, I suddenly remembered back in middle school. I accidentally offended a bully at school. He ordered me to kneel down. I was so angry I smashed his Lamborghini, told him to stay away from me. He was furious, called a group of people to corner me. He demanded I compensate him. If not, I had to kneel and lick his shoes. At that time, Gu Qingli was abroad. Upon receiving the news, she flew back for over 10 hours that very night. As soon as she saw me, she pulled me behind her, protecting me, coldly looked at the group of boys, then threw down a card, told them to tell their parents to bring all their family's Lamborghinis here, for my Yi Chen to smash them all. But now, for the sake of another man. When I was humiliated, she only said, not too much. After delivering goods all day, I dragged my aching body back home, intending to go to my room to rest. Turned on the light, saw Gu Qingli sitting on the living room sofa. The atmosphere was icy. I guessed something was wrong. Called softly, sister-in-law. She stood up abruptly, cutting me off with a shout. Why are you delivering goods? Don't I give you enough money? She had indeed recognized me. But why did she force me to eat that cake? Just to please Chu Yoonjo? I bowed my head, silent. A moment later, her voice rang out again. Furthermore, you sold the old house and the gifts I gave you. What's the meaning of this? What are you trying to do? Rebelling? As the words ended, I was startled. Didn't expect Gu Qingli to discover so quickly. After a while, I figured out the reason. Trying to cover up. I saw those things weren't being used. Keeping them would be pointless, so I sold them. The excuse was too clumsy. Gu Qingli didn't believe it. She was about to question further, but suddenly her phone rang. She took it out to look. It was Chu Yoonjo. Gu Qingli immediately dropped her questioning, hurriedly walked outside, watching her back. I didn't know whether to feel disappointed or relieved. Gu Qingli devoted all her attention to Chu Yoonjo, so my plan could proceed quietly. The next morning, I had just finished washing my relid. Face came downstairs. Assistant Chen handed me a gold card. Young sir, this is from Chairman Gu. Before I could refuse, Assistant Chen had already left the villa, leaving me staring blankly at the card. Finally, I took the card, but didn't put it away. Instead, placed it with the card I intended to return to Gu Qingli, waiting for the day to return everything. I didn't use that card, nor did I stop working part-time, because tuition wasn't enough yet. This time, I hid it from Gu Qingli, quietly went to work. Fortunately, during this time, Gu Qingli was busy taking care of Chu Yoonjo, going out early, returning late, giving me enough time to do my own work. One evening a week later, I accepted an invitation to a class reunion. This was the first gathering after graduation, thinking that in the future, friends would each go their separate ways, especially since I was about to go so far away, it would be hard to meet again. I put aside my part-time work, agreed to attend, but just as I left the villa, I ran into Gu Qingli and Chu Yoonjo returning together, going out so late, seeing me about to walk past. Gu Qingli frowned. She asked, I didn't hide. Class reunion. Gu Qingli was about to refuse, but Chu Yoonjo pretended to be magnanimous and interjected. Young people need social interaction. They're just classmates. Nothing to worry about. If you're concerned, we can go with him. Hearing Chu Yoonju's suggestion, Gu Qingli nodded. If you want to go, I'll go with you. What good comes from kids gathering so late at night? Reluctantly, I had to let them come along. As soon as we entered the private room, two close friends surrounded me. Yi Chen, congratulations. I heard you got into Hua University. Which schools did everyone else get into? My friends. Congratulations hadn't ended. I quickly interrupted, seeing me secretly shaking my head, though slightly confused. They still answered my question. We didn't score that high. Chin Hao decided to stay in the city, chose a school downtown. As for me, I just listened to my parents. Going abroad, I put my arms around their shoulders, walked into the private room, unconsciously glanced back at Gu Qingli. She coldly looked at me, not saying a word. That expression, I wasn't sure whether she had heard what my friend said. I just hoped she hadn't heard clearly. Seeing me look over, Jiu Qingli finally said nothing. Upon entering the private room, she spoke first. Today, I'll cover all expenses. As soon as the words ended, the whole group exclaimed in surprise. Yi Chen, your sister-in-law is so beautiful. So cool. God, give me a sister-in-law like that. Such comments rang out continuously. If it were before, I would definitely have been proud, as if they were praising me. Then I would add, that's right. My sister-in-law is the most amazing, most beautiful person in the world. Now I just smiled faintly, saying nothing during the party. Perhaps because the handsome and beautiful couple was too eye-catching, or because Gu Qingli and Chu Yunzhou looked truly affectionate. All my friends' eyes kept focusing on them during the party. All the friends showed admiration. Yi Chen, your sister-in-law is so good to her boyfriend. So envious. Makes me want to find a mature goddess like your sister-in-law. I want that too. I want that too. The whole group chimed in, but somehow, some comment touched a sensitive chord in Gu Qingli's heart, making her suddenly darken her face. At your age, you shouldn't think about someone like me. Find someone your own age. After saying this, her eyes briefly swept over me. The atmosphere instantly froze. I understood the meaning in her eyes, but still said nothing, taking the initiative to mediate. Sister-in-law, they're just here with me. I don't worry about it. Well, just hang out by ourselves. The screen at the front was still playing music. Everyone heard it and joined in. Right. Let's sing. I'll choose the first song. Haven't learned any new songs lately. So, I'll pick an old one I know. Unrequited Love is a solo journey. I took the microphone, singing along to the melody, my voice carrying a hint of melancholy. After finishing one song, everyone couldn't help but praise. Yi Chen, you sing so well. You even captured the bitter feeling of unrequited love. Speaking of unrequited love, Yi Chen, now that we've graduated, why don't you confess to the person you like? Otherwise, who knows when you'll see them again? It would be a shame to miss the chance. I unconsciously glanced at Gu Qingli, then immediately withdrew my gaze. Shaking my head, I said, I don't like anyone, but my words didn't convince them. They even started debating. How is that possible? Back then, as soon as class ended, you would sketch. I saw it all. A girl. Yes, I saw it too. You even wrote love letters. Even my desk mate chimed in. Yi Chen, don't be shy. I saw in your textbook. It was filled with that person's name. I want to see. You hit it faster than anyone. The drunk friends were still shouting for me to confess. They even started grabbing for my phone. I hurriedly held onto my phone tightly. At this moment, Jiu Qingli suddenly stood up, said, I have something to do, leaving first, then led Chu Yunzhou away. Seeing her leave, I breathed a slight sigh of relief, but my friends had already taken my phone, calling the first number in my contacts. I quickly grabbed it back, about to explain, but before I could speak, Gu Qingli's deep voice rang out. Yi Chen, I will never like you. Right after that, the phone transmitted the sound of the call disconnecting. The atmosphere in the private room froze. Everyone was awkward, regretful. Finally, my friend spoke first. Yi Chen is such a good person. If she doesn't like you, it's her loss for not having eyes. That's right. The consoling voices of friends rang continuously, but I just lowered my head and laughed coldly. It's all right, I've decided too. I don't like her anymore. After that gathering, I didn't see Gu Qingli again. The next time we met was at the anniversary celebration of the Gu group. After the party ended, everyone gradually left. Chu Qingli finally led Chu Yunzhou to find me, sitting alone in a corner of the room. I still have some matters to handle. The driver will take you both home later. I nodded, not objecting, following behind the two. Got into the car with Chu Yunzhou, sitting quietly, saying nothing, listening to Chu Yunzhou and Gu Qingli's sweet goodbyes. The car started. I turned my eyes inside the car, seeing that Gu Qingli had gone far away. Chu Yunzhou pretended to casually ask, Yi Chen, do you have anyone you like yet? I didn't understand why he asked that. I didn't want to answer, but Chu Yunzhou wouldn't let it go. Don't be shy, Yi Chen. At this age, it's normal for boys to have crushes. Tell me. Chu Yunzhou stared at me intently, as if I didn't answer. He would keep asking. Reluctantly, I shook my head. Seeing me shake my head, Chu Yunzhou's eyes were full of disbelief. He continued, Really don't have anyone? Or shall I introduce a girlfriend to you? No need. Hearing Chu Yunzhou's words, I immediately refused. I didn't see the necessity for him to interfere in my love life. But a moment later, Chu Yunzhou laughed coldly, as if turning into a different person. Really no need? Or because you're hiding someone you dare not mention? Yi Chen, you've got guts. Daring to have filthy thoughts about your own sister-in-law. I wonder if your parents in the afterlife would regret having a son like you. Chu Yunzhou was still smiling gently, but his eyes were full of malice. In his poisonous words, my face turned pale, wanting to explain, wanting to refute. But a moment later, the screeching sound of brakes rang out. Due to inertia, both of us lurched forward, held back by the seatbelts. Chu Yunzhou raised his head angrily, wanting to question the driver's driving. But as he looked up, he saw an out-of-control truck heading straight toward us from the front. The driver quickly swerved to the side, but because he turned too sharply, the car crashed directly into the guardrail. Just heard a boom. The car flipped over, tumbled to the ground. Both Chu Yunzhou and I, due to the strong impact, fell into a coma when I still had a bit of consciousness. In front of my eyes was all blood. I had been placed on a stretcher, taken straight to the hospital. In my blurry vision, I seemed to see Ju Qingli, who had raised me for years. For the first time on her face, showed an unprecedented look of worry. I saw the doctor trembling before her. Chairman Ji, we have invited the most prestigious professor, Raphael, but he cannot perform 2 surgeries simultaneously. Please decide who should be operated on first. Ju Qinglis. Deep voice rang out. What risks will the one who has surgery later face? The doctor reluctantly replied. Both patients have been pierced by metal. The one who has surgery later may be permanently disabled. Hearing this, Ju Qingli was silent for a long time, so long that I almost fell back into a coma. Only then did I hear her answer. Save Yunzhou first. After saying this, her figure followed. Chu Yunzhou was pushed into the operating room, disappearing from my sight, not looking back once. Before I passed out, a tear welled up from the corner of my eye. I felt like I was having a long dream. In the dream was all Gu Qingli. She cherished and pampered me for 10 years. When I was bullied by schoolmates, she dropped everything, rushed to defend me, never letting me suffer any grievance. The nights I woke up from nightmares, trembling with fear, she came to my room to comfort me, repeating over and over, "Don't be afraid. Sister-in-law is here." The time I was hit by a car while crossing the road, she rushed to catch me immediately. I happily asked, "Sister-in-law, how did you get here so fast?" She looked at me gently. Because Yi Chen is sister-in-law's most important person. But now, in this life or death choice, she completely abandoned me, saved Yunzhou first. Now Yunzhou was the most important person. I was no longer her only one. I don't know how long I was in a coma. When I woke up, there was only a nurse beside me. Seeing me wake up, the nurse excitedly said, "You've finally woken up. The person brought in with you has been awake for a long time. Only you remain in a coma." I moved my limbs, felt pain, but fortunately still had feeling. I sighed with relief. I am not disabled? Wasn't I abandoned? The nurse hearing this, her voice filled with fear. Yes, almost. Your leg could not be saved. Fortunately, you were lucky. The doctor arrived in time. You also pulled through. My eyes reddened, my mind only thinking, thank goodness. My leg is still there. Suddenly remembering something, I asked, "Where is Gu Qingli?" Having just woken up, I was still weak, but forced myself to ask. The nurse didn't conceal anything. Frankly replied, her voice slightly admiring. "Miss Gu is in the next room taking care of the other person. I heard they're fiancés. How romantic. Would you like me to call Miss Gu over?" I was silent for a moment, shook my head. No need. Not in the future either. During my time in the hospital, Jiu Qingli never came once. I also didn't ask for news about her until the day of discharge. Jiu Qingli finally called. "I've been very busy lately, so I couldn't visit you. I heard you're being discharged today. Later I'll have my assistant pick you up." I made a sound of acknowledgement, not saying anything more, but Jiu Qingli didn't hang up. I thought she had something else to say, waited for her to speak, but she hesitated for a while, then asked about my condition. "How are you recovering?" "Everything's fine. Just focus on taking care of brother Yunzhou. Don't worry about me." Finally receiving her belated concern, but my heart no longer felt joy, only distant, polite words. Jiu Qingli heard my answer. About to explain, I didn't, but on the other end, the sound of hanging up had already rung out. 3 days before leaving the capital, I had already packed all my luggage. Jiu Qingli returned at this exact moment, seeing the large and small luggage on the floor. She couldn't help but ask, "Why are you packing your luggage? Still 3 more days until enrollment." "I am preparing in advance for convenience." I put the last item into the suitcase, my voice indifferent, not showing any abnormality, but Jiu Qingli felt uneasy, rarely asking, "Further, does enrollment require so much luggage?" "Yes," taking everything at once, to avoid trouble later. I didn't pay attention to her question, arranged the suitcases neatly in the corner, then looked at her. "Sister-in-law, before I enroll, could you have a meal with me at home? I want to cook for you." A simple request, but Gu Qingli didn't answer immediately. She hesitated, then said, "We can eat together anytime. You're studying university right here in the city. Later I'll move to the house near Qing University too. No need to rush this time. Just this once. Once is enough." I looked at her, my eyes showing a rare stubbornness. She raised me for 5 years. I wanted to cook her a meal, as a final goodbye. Gu Qingli looked at me, finally gave in. "As you wish." After that day, I was busy handling the remaining matters. Didn't pay attention to what Gu Qingli was doing. On enrollment day, I spent half the day preparing a table full of food, then sat waiting for Gu Qingli to return, but time passed bit by bit. She still didn't appear. Watching the dishes gradually grow cold, I called her. 1 call, 2 calls, 10 calls. No one picked up. When I was about to put down my phone, suddenly ding, a sound. A message arrived. I opened it to look. It was a message from Chu Yunzhou. The words full of provocation. "Don't wait anymore. Look at my friend's circle." I was stunned. Opened the friend's circle. Saw Chu Yunzhou's new post. In the photo, Jiu Qingli, who had promised to eat with me, wearing a light green dress, sitting beside Chu Yunzhou. The setting was a romantic French restaurant, with fresh flowers, balloons, steak. Anyone would praise this divine couple. This was our final goodbye, but she couldn't even manage that. I looked at that post for a long time, finally just silently pressed like, then exited, deleted Chu Yunzhou from my friends, deleted Gu Qingli too. then deactivated my WeChat account. Everything done in one go. Finishing it all, I took out my phone's SIM card, broke it, threw it in the trash, finally took the bank card, prepared to return it to Jiu Qingli, along with the gold card she gave later, placed at the most visible spot in the living room, just left a note, writing the final words, "Sister-in-law, I am giving up these feelings. I walked 999 steps toward you. I have no regrets. I hope you don't either." After writing, I glanced at the villa I had lived in for 10 years, then pushed my suitcase out of the house, called a taxi, went straight to the airport, not looking back. Gu Qingli, from now on, I will begin a new life without you. Jiu Qingli returned on the morning of the third day. Sitting in the car, she instructed Assistant Chen to bring a gift. Assistant Chen helped her bring the model set bought earlier to the villa. Assistant Chen agreed, hung up, went to prepare the model. At that time, Jiu Qingli had just entered the villa. Walking past the dining room, she immediately saw the dining table, full of dishes that hadn't been cleared away. She froze. Her steps unconsciously turned into the dining room. In the middle of summer, food left for 2 days and 2 nights, no longer as fragrant as at the beginning, but emitting a faint, unpleasant smell. Somehow, she vaguely seemed to see Yi Chen stubbornly sitting waiting at the table, head bowed, only occasionally looking up to check the time, doing nothing else. But in the end, this dining table, like the person who prepared it, couldn't wait for the invited guest to arrive. Gu Qingli's heart suddenly ached, but in the end, she left the dining room, called the housekeeper, told them to clear the dining table immediately. Yi Chen, she unconsciously called his name. This time no one answered. Qingli was stunned, then remembered. By now, Yi Chen must have arrived at school. She rubbed her forehead, sat down on the sofa in the living room, just glancing around. Already saw the 2 cards in the note, lying in the most visible spot. Jiu Qingli picked up the note, but when she read the content, she was shocked. He's giving up. What does that mean? Somehow, Jiu Qingli's heart was suddenly in turmoil. She took out her phone, called Yi Chen's number, but only heard the cold electronic female voice. "The number you have dialed is temporarily unavailable." Jiu Qingli was stunned. Opened the chat window with Yi Chen, sent messages. Time passed bit by bit. She only felt her heart burning. Jiu Qingli suddenly remembered. A few days ago, she had promised to have dinner with Yi Chen, but on that very day, she hadn't come home because of Chu Yunzhou. That day, when Yi Chen was waiting for her, did he feel this heartbroken too? Jiu Qingli's heart grew more panicked. She comforted herself. As long as she could contact Yi Chen and coax him, everything would be fine. But Yi Chen didn't reply. She wasn't clear about her own feelings, whether she felt more anxious or more irritated. Seeing he didn't respond, Jiu Qingli messaged again. "Why aren't you answering?" But this time, what awaited her was a glaring red exclamation mark after the message. An unreasonable anger erupted in Jiu Qingli's mind. She threw her phone forcefully forward. "Gotten so stubborn? Daring to block me?" She grabbed her keys, picked up her phone again, angrily walked out. Just as she left the door, she saw Assistant Chen holding a gift box. Seeing Gu Qingli like this, Assistant Chen hesitantly asked, "Chairman Du, should I bring this model set in?" Her voice burst out in anger. But when she saw Assistant Chen really holding a model, about to turn back, Jiu Qingli called him back. "No, give me the model. You can go." Her dark expression made Assistant Chen not dare to ask. After delivering the item, he hurriedly left the villa. After leaving the villa area, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. Right after that, a discreet, luxurious Maybach glided past him, making Assistant Chen so frightened his legs went weak, almost collapsing. Meanwhile, on the other side, Jiu Qingli drove, like the wind, to the house she had bought near Qing University, furiously rushed in, intending to find Yi Chen and demand answers. But once inside, she realized there were no signs anyone had been there. Jiu Qingli was so angry she laughed. "Really gotten stubborn. Blocking contact, cutting ties, now won't even stay at my house. Let's see where you can hide." When Jiu Qingli arrived at the office of the president of Qing University, right at lunch break, based on having once funded an experimental building, she requested to search the list to find Yi Chen's class and dormitory. But after searching for almost the entire afternoon, the president wiped the sweat from his forehead, finally shook his head at Gu Qingli. "Chairman Jiu, it's not that I'm hiding anything, but there really are no records of him." The president of Qing University hesitated, looking at Jiu Qingli with a complex expression. To say she didn't care about her family member would be incorrect. She was willing to fund an entire building to find a young man named Yi Chen, but to say she cared wouldn't be quite right either. Yi Chen clearly, from the beginning, hadn't even applied here. Even if rejected, there would still be records. What did this mean? Jiu Qingli's imposing presence, combined with the fruitless extended work session, made her even more irritated. Seeing the president stammer, her eyes showed impatience. The president quickly smiled to appease her, finishing his unfinished sentence. "I can only say he didn't choose our school and isn't studying here." Hearing the answer, Jiu Qingli was stunned. She recalled the note Yi Chen had left, saying he was giving up. But 2 months earlier, when she asked if he had chosen Qing University, she hadn't paid attention to the slight unnaturalness on his face. Now she suddenly realized. So Yi Chen had been lying to her since then. So his giving up meant giving up his feelings. He wanted to disappear from her world. Jiu Qingli slumped into a chair, feeling lost, not knowing what to say. "Chairman Du, Are you still planning to fund the experimental building you promised? The president of Qing University looked at Ji Qingli, full of sadness, ventured to ask. She stood up, emotionless, waved to the president who was about to follow. The building was promised. In a few days, I'll send someone to handle it. Xu Qingli left the campus of Qing University, suddenly feeling empty inside. Wasn't choosing Qing University an agreement between her and Yi Chen? He had once studied hard, just to get his scores closer to Qing University's standard, to stay in the city, with her. But why did he suddenly change? Could he really have given up on her? Thinking of this possibility, Xu Qingli should have been happy, because she had finally achieved her goal. But now, she couldn't feel happy at all. She still didn't want to believe. He had once stubbornly said he liked her. Those bright eyes when saying head, stay with her forever. How could he give up so easily? Surely, Yi Chen was deceiving her, wanting her to lower her guard. Then, he would return with his hidden feelings, stronger than before. Surely that was it. Ji Qingli's eyes suddenly lit up with hope, as if realizing something. She took out her phone, found another number. Even if he secretly changed his application, someone must know where he went. Yi Chen isn't at Qing University. Teacher Li, do you know which school he chose? He chose Hua University. I thought he had already told you. The homeroom teacher's puzzled voice rang from the other end, making Zhu Qingli pause. Hua University. Yi Chen actually chose a school so far away. She recalled when she was with Chu Yunzhou, shopping for Yi Chen's school supplies. He kept lingering around the winter clothing section. How did she not realize? Yi Chen from that moment had already decided to go to Hua University. Thinking of this, she felt a surge of discomfort. Didn't I instruct all of you to tell him to choose Qing University? He changed his application on his own. Why wasn't I informed? Hearing Gu Qingli's accusation, the homeroom teacher laughed awkwardly, then repeated what I had said. At that time, he said he had grown up, wanted to make his own decisions, told me not to tell you. I thought you two had argued, waiting for you to reconcile. He would tell you himself. These words made Gu Qingli choke. Argued? Weren't they arguing now? But she still didn't understand. Why Yi Chen suddenly disappeared without a trace, though she now knew his whereabouts. Ji Qingli didn't want to say more to the teacher, hung up immediately, then called Assistant Chen. Book me a flight to Frost City, as soon as possible. Frost City is so far away. Hearing the destination, Assistant Chen was surprised. But Chairman, tomorrow morning you have a meeting. Before Assistant Chen finished, he was cut off by an irritated Gu Qingli. Reschedule the meeting. Book the flight first. Don't worry about anything else. Shortly after hanging up, Ji Qingli received information about a flight to Frost City. Departure in 2 hours. She didn't hesitate. Got in her car, drove straight to the airport. When she landed in Frost City, it was already 10 at night. She didn't wait for Assistant Chen's arranged pickup. Hailed a taxi immediately. In the car, she gave the name Hua University. When Zhu Qingli arrived at Hua University, it was already 11 at night. She looked at her watch, finally decided not to look for Yi Chen immediately. Instead found a hotel near the campus to stay temporarily. Even if she found him now, he would probably be asleep. Waiting until tomorrow morning would be more certain. That night, Ji Qingli lay on the hotel bed, tossing and turning, unable to fall asleep. She opened her eyes, watching the time pass minute by minute. At 7 the next morning, she bought breakfast, then went straight to Hua University. She used her old method, found out Yi Chen's class and dormitory, then went directly to the dormitory to intercept him. At this time, students would usually have finished their morning self-study, eaten breakfast, returning to their dorms, but Yi Chen didn't like breakfast. Without her supervision, he would certainly skip meals, so she deliberately brought breakfast. At this time, many people were coming and going around the dormitory. Zhu Qingli, with her refined, mature appearance, holding breakfast, standing under the male dormitory building, stood out strangely. Students passing by all turned to look at her. Some who didn't even need to pass by here deliberately detoured to look. When I finished breakfast at the canteen, returning to the dormitory, I saw Zhu Qingli surrounded by students. At first, because there were too many people, she was obscured. I didn't recognize her, was about to return to my dorm, but my roommate was too curious, pulled me over to see what the commotion was. As soon as we got close, I saw Zhu Qingli, the person I thought I'd never see again. Seeing her, I instinctively wanted to run away, but she had already quickly spotted me, seeing me turn around to leave. She called out loudly, Yi Chen, wait. Zhu Qingli thought, hearing her voice, I would stop, but as soon as she finished speaking, I walked even faster. My roommate looked back and forth curiously, seeing I was almost far away, hurriedly chased after me. Reluctantly, Zhu Qingli had to push through the crowd, chasing after me. Finally, when I was almost at the dormitory, she grabbed my hand. Where are you running to? Being held by the hand, unable to leave. I was helpless, finally gave in, turned around, said goodbye to my roommates, told them to go ahead, not to worry about me, then turned to Gu Qingli, called softly, sister-in-law, seeing me willing to stop, but still not daring to look at her. Gu Qingli was so angry, she laughed. So you know I am your sister-in-law, changing your application without permission, running to a place this far away, leaving behind 2 cards, and a note that makes no sense. Gotten so stubborn, want to fly on your own? But what Ji Qingli didn't expect was that after she finished speaking, I nodded. Her face immediately darkened. What do you mean? At this moment, I finally looked straight at her. Miss Ji, I am very grateful to you for raising me for 5 years. Thank you for your tolerance. No matter what mistake made, you always forgave me. I have nothing to repay you with, so I sold the old house. The gifts you gave me, I also sold, converted them to money. It's all in the card I left behind. The gold card you gave later. I didn't touch it. Those things are all I can give back to you. Before, I didn't understand things, caused you a lot of trouble, especially after I confessed my feelings. It must have troubled you more, but I've given up. Miss GU, don't worry. I've grown up. From now on, I'll take care of myself. Won't bother you anymore. Word by word, sentence by sentence, I expressed my feelings clearly, but like heavy hammers pounding Chingla's heart, she felt her mind in chaos, gripping my hand, squeezing it tighter, repeating her question. What do you mean? I removed her hand. Miss GU, I think I've made myself clear. What I mean is, Miss GU, from today, I won't call you sister-in-law anymore. We don't have any relationship. And about how you were troubled by me clinging to you, it won't happen again. Miss GU, I don't like you anymore. After saying this, I didn't look at her reaction, turned to leave, but she seemed not to hear what I said, called out to me again. Yi Chen, this is breakfast I brought for you. I know you don't eat breakfast, so I specially brought this. Ji Qingli held out the breakfast bag, placing it in front of me, her eyes showing expectation and pleading. I didn't understand why she was like this now, but after thinking for a moment, I shook my head at her. Miss Jiu, no need. I've already had breakfast. The habit of skipping breakfast. I broke it long ago. This breakfast, you eat it yourself. After speaking, I turned and left, not stopping. I didn't look back to see how Gu Qingli reacted, what expression she had, nor did I care when she planned to leave. She is an adult, the youngest CEO of the Gu Group, a significant figure in the business world. What she does doesn't need me and one 8-year-old student to worry about. As soon as I returned to the dormitory, my roommates surrounded me. Yi Chen, who was that person downstairs? She was my late brother's fiancée, also my guardian for the past 5 years. I didn't hide from them. Told them straightforwardly the relationship between me and her. But hearing my answer, my roommates were even more puzzled. Then why did you have to avoid her? I forced a smile, not saying more, just explained briefly. Because we don't have any relationship anymore. As soon as these words were spoken, my roommates smiled awkwardly, repeatedly apologized, but I shook my head. It's okay. You were just concerned about me. The morning break wasn't very long. Having already spent time downstairs earlier, I only sat for a while. It was almost 9 o'clock. We had class this morning. Everyone packed up and hurried downstairs, went to the lecture building. When we went downstairs, Zhu Qingli was still standing dazed under the dormitory, but the crowd watching had mostly dispersed. Only a few people remained, probably latecomers, wanting to look at her because she was beautiful, wanting to talk to her. When I walked past, just at that moment, a male student gathered all his courage, stepped forward, held out his phone. Miss, can I have your contact information? But whether Zhu Qingli agreed or not, I didn't see. Hurried to class. No time to pay attention to her, but her eyes, from the moment I appeared, had been fixed on me. When the male student came to talk to her, she didn't refuse immediately. Because of this, she wanted to see if I was really, as I said, no longer liked her. I'm, finally, through my steps that never stopped. Zhu Qingli desolately realized I seemed to truly not like her anymore. Clearly, this was what she had waited for 2 years. For this, she deliberately got close to another man, deliberately showed affection with Chu Yunzhou in front of me, and had repeatedly told me words of rejection, that she could never like me. Now she had what she wanted, but her heart wasn't happy at all. In fact, it was very painful. She couldn't find a reason, nor did she have the mind to deal with the male student in front of her. Saying nothing, she stood up, walked out of the school. Just as she left the gates of Hua University, her phone suddenly rang. Taking it out to look, it was Chu Yunzhou. Before, she had abandoned me countless times for Chu Yunzhou, but now that I had truly given up on her, she no longer wanted to see Chu Yunzhou. The phone rang again and again, but she didn't answer. Just let it ring until it stopped, then ring again, until the other side lost patience, stopped calling. Zhu Qingli hadn't planned to return early, but after only 2 days in Frost City, she was called back by Mr. Gu, hurriedly returned to the old Gu family house. As soon as she entered the door, she saw Chu Yunzhou, smiling brightly, sitting next to Mrs. Zhu. She frowned slightly, stepped forward to ask, calling me back so urgently, what's the matter? Qingli, you're grown up now too, and the matter of marriage should be put into your plans. Mrs. Zhu waved her hand, told Gu Qingli to sit down beside her. As soon as Mrs. Zhu opened her mouth, she immediately brought up what Zhu Qingli wanted to avoid the most. Yunzhou is the fiancé you chose yourself. I see that the beginning of next month is an auspicious day. Hurry and hold the wedding ceremony. The news that Gu Qingli and Chu Yunzhou would marry at the beginning of the next month topped the search rankings the next noon. I learned the news on Tuesday evening, when I saw Gu Qingli looking tired from traveling far. I really didn't want to see her. Also didn't understand why after I left, just as she wanted. I had given her the answer she hoped for, yet she still clung on without letting go. But she stood stubbornly under the dormitory, like a statue, unable to see the person she wanted to meet, yet still obstinately refusing to leave. The watching crowd grew increasingly large, until the dormitory manager saw it was too disruptive, dispersed the crowd, and chased Jiyu Qingli away 5 times. The sky gradually darkened. The watching students finally went upstairs to rest. But Jiyu Qingli, despite being chased away many times, still refused to leave. The manager saw she didn't care. Finally had to helplessly leave her be. She stood under the building until 10 o'clock at night. Wang Kun in our room looked down from the window, approached me, nudged my shoulder. Hey, your family member is still downstairs. Her? She can wait if she wants to. I didn't tell her to stand there. I didn't look up, still kept my eyes fixed on the computer, browsing through club activity materials, as if truly not caring about the person downstairs. After a while, I looked up, turning away from the screen, then saw Wang Kun still standing beside me. Stunned, I pushed the laptop towards him. We browsed together for another half hour, finally chose the drama club together. By now it was 10:40. Wang Kun went to wash his face. I walked to the window, looked down, though it was dark. The street lights were still bright, reminding me. Jiyu Qingli still hadn't left. Looking at that stubborn figure, I sighed, finally went downstairs. What are you here for again? A familiar voice rang in my ear. Jiyu Qingli's eyes lit up, but hearing my words, the light in her eyes that had just flashed, immediately extinguished. Yi Chen, why do we have to be so distant? Gu Qingli also didn't understand. The past few years had clearly been good. Why did I suddenly choose the farthest Hua University? Why did I suddenly want to cut ties with her? The Jiyu family doesn't lack heirs. My words were direct. Pausing a moment, I added, you also don't need me to stay by your side with a different title. But you know I once liked you. Even though I've decided to give up now, if I stay by your side, it would be hard for me to let go of these feelings. Isn't this what you've always wanted? I blocked all the reasons she might think of. She stammered for a long time, only uttered a weak answer. Grandpa and Grandma, they really want a grandchild for company. Hearing this, I laughed. If these words came from Grandpa and Grandma, then they just want a great-grandchild soon. Miss Jiyu, you're getting married soon. That day must be close. Hearing me mention the wedding, Jiyu Qingli suddenly remembered the purpose of her coming here. Yi Chen, listen to me. I don't want to marry Chu Yunzhou. Her unexpected words stunned me. It took me a while to understand her meaning. I lowered my head looking at her, the smile on my face becoming more sarcastic. Miss Jiyu, if you don't want to marry, you should tell your fiancé, not me. After all, your marriage is not something I should worry about. I vaguely realized Gu Qingli's intention, but didn't expose it. Once I had chosen, there was no way for me to regret. I don't love her anymore, nor will I return to her side. Miss Jiyu, go home. Your fiancé and your family are waiting for you in the Yen capital. After saying this, I didn't stop, turned, and went upstairs. Jiyu Qingli hurriedly chased after me, wanting to explain, but I stopped her. I paused on the staircase, didn't turn my head, but clearly sensed her actions. This is the male dormitory. It's not appropriate for you to come in further. Hearing my words, Jiyu Qingli froze in her steps, but still stubbornly asked, Yi Chen, can we really not go back to how we were before? Which time do you want to go back to? When I still loved you, and you kept pushing me away? I shook my head, my voice tinged with sadness. But that was so tiring. Having to force myself to eat spicy food I couldn't stand. Having to walk several kilometers home alone. Being abandoned when I was injured. My accusations, word by word, knocked on Jiyu Qingli's heart, making her mind chaotic. She shook her head, repeating 3 words. It wasn't like that. Or let's go back even further. When you were good to me, I was immersed in your gentleness, but could only suppress my feelings. Love that couldn't be expressed, affection that couldn't be sought. Jiyu Qingli, I don't you see how cruel you were? Isn't it better this way? I listened to you. Let go of my feelings for you. Only by leaving you. Can I avoid being hurt by you? Not having to force myself to cater to someone else's preferences. Not being abandoned by you for someone else. I will like someone my own age. Live a normal life. Isn't that good? At this point, watching me step closer, bringing out those messages Chu Yunzhou deliberately sent. Those photos meant to provoke me when he was with her, and hearing me recount all she had done to make me give up. Gu Qingli finally understood how cruel it all had been to me. I didn't know. Yi Chen? I didn't know he did that. Also didn't know. You were so heartbroken. Her eyes showed pleading, but I had hidden the sadness in my eyes. Having said everything in my heart, I only felt relieved. No longer hurt like before. Gu Qingli, you still don't understand why you're looking for me. When you understand clearly what answer you want from me, then come back. I looked straight at Gu Qingli. After speaking, turned and went upstairs. This time, Jiyu Qingli didn't chase after me, nor did she stay. Back at the dormitory, it was already 11:30. Had to wake up early tomorrow. I washed my face quickly, turned off the lights, got into bed, preparing to sleep. Suddenly heard Wang Kun's voice. Yi Chen, are you not happy? To avoid disturbing our roommates, he lowered his voice very quietly. Fortunately, our beds were close to each other. I heard clearly. Didn't expect Wang Kun to be so perceptive. Silent for a moment, I answered, a little bit. Although I hadn't known Wang Kun for long, after a few days together, we were like brothers. I sighed, hiding Jiyu Qingli's identity, told Wang Kun. I once liked someone for 5 years. She was very good to me, but she didn't like me. She even hated that I liked her. To reject me, she started distancing herself from me, got engaged to someone else. Even when I was in danger, she no longer cared about me. While I was in the hospital due to a car accident, she didn't come to see me even once. So afterward, I gave up liking her. But I realized, It wasn't that she hated me liking her, but that she was afraid to face it, because she liked me too, but didn't dare admit it. My voice was full of regret, making Wang Kun's heart heavy as he listened. Hearing the last sentence, he suddenly tensely asked, "So do you still like her now?" I shook my head, remembering Wang Kun. Couldn't see, then lowered my voice to answer, "It's over. I don't want to like her anymore." That's right. It should be like that. Though I couldn't see Wang Kun's face, but from his voice, I guessed he was full of indignation. "Yi Chen, I've heard the drama club has many pretty girls. Tomorrow let's go meet new people. Make her regret it." I wanted to laugh, but didn't contradict. Instead went along with what he said. "Okay, let's go tomorrow. But it's late now. We have morning class tomorrow. Let's sleep." As soon as the words ended, the dormitory fell silent. No more sounds. I closed my eyes, gradually falling asleep. The next morning, I was awakened by the alarm. Called Wang Kun to get up first, then got out of bed and quickly washed my face, waited for Wang Kun to finish, left together. When leaving the dormitory, I didn't see Ju Qingli. She must have left already. I didn't care much, just glanced around. Seeing she wasn't there, I looked away. Just hoped this time she would leave, not come back to bother me anymore. The morning class was self-study, no teacher's supervision. Having slept late yesterday, both Wang Kun and I lacked sleep, so we put our heads down on the desks to catch up. After class, we were both more refreshed, also more energetic. There were no classes in the morning, but because we had planned to register for the drama club, Wang Kun and I finished breakfast, went straight to the club's booth. School had just started not long ago. The clubs were busily recruiting members. They set up a whole street for clubs to set up booths for recruitment. Seeing new students coming, the senior students in charge of recruitment enthusiastically invited us. Basketball club recruiting here. A little brother, come take a look. Anime club recruiting. Members, look at these beautiful models. See this brand new cosplay outfit. Join the club and you'll have a chance to own it. Brothers and sisters, join the drama club, full of handsome boys and beautiful girls. Brothers and sisters, join the student union, train yourself, plus get extra credits. Wang Kun and I had a clear goal, went straight to the drama club booth, filled in our names on the registration form. The sister in charge saw us, immediately smiled broadly. Two such handsome little brothers, joining the drama club is exactly right. Wang Kun pulled me, looking at the seniors at the club booth. Everyone was so beautiful, it brightened the eyes. He grinned, approached the sister in charge. "Sister, is everyone in the drama club this beautiful? Can we pursue them?" She raised her head proudly, patted her chest and replied, "Beauty is guaranteed, but as for pursuit, it depends on destiny." Wang Kun nodded in understanding, hearing the sister's hint that it would be difficult to pursue, but he didn't see any problem. Beautiful people should be like that. Making an effort for beautiful people is worth it. A week later, Wang Kun and I finished our last afternoon class. On our way back to the dormitory, we received a group message from the club. The message said this year's recruitment was finished to welcome new members. Tonight, everyone would have dinner together. The location was near the campus. Because there were many people, they reserved a private room. Wang Kun and I arrived neither early nor late. Entering the private room, several people had already arrived. I glanced and saw the sister in charge of recruitment, took the initiative to greet her. "Sister Jiang." Jiang Qin remembered Wang Kun and me clearly, seeing us arrive. She also smiled, introduced us to everyone. "I am Jiang Qin, president of the drama club. This is the vice president, named Yi Jiwei." A little reminder, she's still single. The last sentence. Jiang Qin looked at Wang Kun, clearly speaking to him. Obviously, she remembered from the recruitment day. Wang Kun asking about pursuing pretty girls in the club, but Wang Kun looked at Yi Jiwei. His eyes flashed with playfulness, then extended his hand. "Sister Yi." "Hello, I am Wang Kun." Yi Jiwei politely nodded, shook Wang Kun's hand, touched lightly then let go. Her eyes turned to me. My face slightly reddened, also extended my hand, greeted first. "Hello, sister." "Hello. If you don't mind, just call me Jiwei." The unexpected friendliness of Yi Jiwei made me awkward, not knowing how to respond. Wang Kun came to my rescue. "Sister Yi, then I'll call you Jiwei too?" Yi Jiwei coughed lightly. Her face gradually reddened. She didn't answer, but changed the subject. A few minutes later, everyone had arrived, sat around the dining table. People noticed there was an extra seat. While wondering, Jiang Qin stood up, cleared her throat, looking mysterious. "Today we have a secret guest. From now on, she will be the sponsor of our club, covering all activity expenses, of course including today's meal." Hearing this, everyone cheered, but somehow, I suddenly had a premonition. This secret guest was someone I knew. When Jiyu Qingli in a white dress walked in, my premonition became reality. I was stunned, not knowing what to say. Jiyu Qingli entered the private room, instinctively wanted to walk towards me, but everyone was already seated. The empty seat was at the head of the table, and both sides of me already had people. She recognized those two people. One was my roommate, one was the vice president of the club. Jiyu Qingli's heart was filled with mixed emotions. Wanted to tell Yi Jiwei to give up her seat, but couldn't find a reason. She looked at me, hoping I would take the initiative to suggest it. But except for the glance when she first entered, I didn't look at her again. After hesitating for a moment, she sat in the seat already prepared for her. Although it was only a brief moment, Yi Jiwei still keenly noticed Jiyu Qingli's gaze. Yi Jiwei thoughtfully poured me a glass of juice. While handing it to me, she leaned close, asked softly, "Do you know the sponsor?" I answered no firmly, without any hesitation. But obviously, Yi Jiwei didn't believe this. Seeing I didn't want to talk about it, she didn't ask further. Everyone had arrived. While waiting for the dishes, each person introduced themselves. After the introductions, dishes began to be served. Yi Jiwei was very perceptive, always paying attention to my wishes and actions, adding rice, serving food, pouring juice, though I repeatedly said it wasn't necessary. She still did it. The old members of the drama club, never having seen Yi Jiwei so gentle before, all teased her. Wang Kun several times deliberately tried to block her, but Yi Jiwei just smiled, gently prepared his portion again. Her attentiveness almost made me think she was always like this, until another male student took a drink, approached, wanting to be friendly with her. She only responded politely, distantly, no longer showing any trace of the gentleness she showed me. I then realized this gentleness was reserved only for me. Oh, so I am basking in the glow of your spotlight. Wang Kun also noticed Yi Jiwei's attitude. He leaned close, though lowering his voice, still showing his teasing intent. I was busy dealing with Wang Kun's teasing and Yi Jiwei's attentiveness, so I didn't notice. Jiu Qingli silently was also always watching me. Wang Kun noticed, but said nothing, just glanced at Jiu Qingli once. Yi Jiwei noticed, so her smile became even more gentle, blocking Jiu Qingli's gaze. What hurt Jiu Qingli most was that I didn't reject Yi Jiwei's closeness. She seemed to be torturing herself, sitting through the entire party. When Jiang Qing suggested moving to karaoke, she also followed. Arriving at the reserved karaoke room, Gu Qingli was again too slow. Couldn't get a seat next to me, had to sit alone in a corner, watching me laugh and talk with others. When it was my turn to choose a song, this time it was a light love song. I took the microphone, seriously followed the melody, and sang. Just as I began to sing, Wang Kun exclaimed, "Yi Chen, how many more surprises do you have that I don't know about?" Wang Kun's words made me smile slightly. At that moment, a clear, gentle voice rang out beside my ear, following the melody, singing a duet with me. I was stunned, turned to see Yi Jiwei smiling gently. In the corner of the room, Jiu Qingli saw the smile on my face, felt as if she had been stabbed. The harmony between me and Yi Jiwei made her feel choked. Jiu Qingli carefully thought back, but suddenly realized, by her side, I hadn't smiled like that in a long time. When I was 16 years old, she discovered my hidden feelings. From initial shock to later anger, she was relentless, tore through the final layer of paper, tried to force me to give up those feelings, but I was strangely stubborn, refused to let go. After that, each time I approached her, was always with great care, afraid of making her unhappy, afraid of being forbidden to stay by her side. But, even so, she always remained cold towards me. Jiu Qingli thought that doing so would extinguish my feelings, but I persisted for 2 years. During those 2 years, she never saw me genuinely smile. Now she had achieved her wish, pushed me out of her life, watched me move towards someone else, but she regretted it. After finishing the song, Yi Jiwei and I were more in harmony, no longer awkward like during dinner. Little brother, can I have your contact info? Another female voice rang out at the wrong time. I turned around. It was an old member of the drama club. I didn't refuse. After all, we were in the same club. Adding contact info was convenient. The party lasted until 9 in the evening before ending. Before leaving, I went to the bathroom. Coming out, I saw Gu Qingli waiting at the door. I paused, but didn't want to revisit old matters. Was about to walk past her, leaving, but she pulled me back. I regret it now. Reluctantly, I turned to look at her. I removed her hand, my eyes showing none of the joy she hoped for. So what? Jiu Qingli tried to suppress the bitterness in her heart, explained, Yi Chen, I've broken off my engagement with Chu Yunzhou. In the past, I was too cowardly, thinking this feeling went against morality, wouldn't be accepted by society. So I forced myself to accept someone else, force you to give up your feelings for me. I thought that was the right direction, but I was wrong. Her eyes welled with tears as she spoke. I once said, you should like someone your own age, not me. But now I realize, I can't bear seeing you like someone else. You just withdrew your affection from me. Let someone else get close to you. And I already felt pain to the point I couldn't breathe. Yi Chen, the one I truly love is you. I can't watch you love someone else. Yi Chen, can you give me another chance? Jiu Qingli rarely cried. In my memory, the first time I saw her cry was when I first arrived at the Jiu family. At first, she wasn't as good to me, not as attentive as she was later. She didn't know how to care for children, and had just taken over the company, rarely paid attention to me. But unexpectedly, because I was living in someone else's home, timid, even when I had a cold, high fever, I didn't dare tell her. That night, I was delirious with fever, collapsed right in front of her. When she came closer, only then did she feel I was abnormally hot, hurriedly took me to the hospital, and the doctor said if it had been a little later, at best I would have been senseless. At worst, I could have lost my life. When I woke up that time, I saw Jiu Qingli with reddened eyes, full of self-blame. From then on, no matter how busy she was, she always made time for me, treated me as best as she could, gave me all her love, just to tell me the Jiu family was my home. But the final promise was just empty words. Now she was crying again, in front of me, voice choked with emotion, begging me for another chance. I looked at her, sighed. Jiu Qingli heard her name, looked up, eyes full of pleading and hope. But my eyes only showed confusion. If you loved me, how could you know my stomach wasn't good? yet because of one word from Chu Yunjo, I forced me to eat spicy food I couldn't stand. Why, when Chu Yunjo and I had an accident, you chose to save him first? Even afterward never visited me once. Do you know what happened before that accident? He told me I was fantasizing about liking my sister-in-law, said my feelings were filthy. Jiu Qingli, but in the end you chose him. The hope in her eyes, under my two questions, shattered piece by piece. She couldn't explain, but even Jiu Qingli didn't know what was going through her mind at that time. Though she wanted me to give up, there were so many other ways. No need to hurt me like that. Seeing her silent, I laughed sarcastically. You see, even you can't answer yourself. Jiu Qingli, do you really love me? Or are you just used to having me by your side? My eyes were always only on you. Now that I've given up, you feel uncomfortable. No, Yi Chen, I really like you. Jiu Qingli hurriedly explained, but as soon as she finished speaking, I had already turned to leave, far enough for her to hear my words, but my steps didn't stop. Walking a bit further, I saw Yi Jiwei. Her eyes glanced at Gu Qingli behind me, but quickly withdrew. Looking at me, she asked, I need any help? I knew what she meant, shook my head and replied, no need to mind her. Let's go back. Hearing the us in my words, Yi Jiwei couldn't hide her smile, nodded. Okay, I'll go with you. I didn't refuse. Back at the private room, only Wang Kun remained. Seeing us, he picked up Yi Jiwei's bag, following. Let's go together. The three people got farther and farther away. No one looked back. Only Jiu Qingli was left behind, looking in the direction we went. Just a few steps, and she could catch up, but she saw the distance between us. So distant that it couldn't be crossed in a lifetime. Back at the dormitory, Wang Kun was very perceptive. Went upstairs first, leaving me and Yi Jiwei alone before I could stop him. I helplessly shrugged at Yi Jiwei. Sorry about Wang Kun. He's always so mischievous. Yi Jiwei shook her head. No. He's very understanding. I didn't know how to respond, and she smiled. Can I call you Yi Chen? Seeing me nod, she continued. Yi Chen, let's be friends. I didn't expect her to say this. I was stunned, but then smiled. I thought calling me Yi Chen meant we were already friends. I am the one who's slow. Understanding my meaning, Yi Jiwei was slightly flustered, tucked a strand of hair over her shoulder. Then let's exchange contact info. Been talking all this time, haven't had a chance to add it. I nodded, about to take out my phone, but felt my pocket and remembered I forgot to bring it. At that moment, Wang Kun came running down breathlessly, carefully placed the phone in my hand, then as if completing a mission, hurriedly ran back upstairs. Looking at his back, I laughed. After exchanging contact info with Yi Jie, I waved. Sister, it's late. I am going up. Be careful on your way home. Seeing Yi Jie nod, I went upstairs, but just as I reached the corner of the staircase, I saw three people furtively gathered, peering down below. The entire dormitory room, except for me, were all here. Helplessly asked, what are you all doing here? Seeing me come up so quickly, the group was embarrassed. Everyone looked around aimlessly, trying to shake off the awkwardness. This staircase is indeed a staircase. Tonight's moon is indeed the moon. Wang Kun was a bit calmer. Ran too fast earlier. I am just resting here. The two came up with clumsy excuses. At a hotel near Hua University, Jiu Qingli slumped on the carpet beside the bed, surrounded by empty wine bottles. Her cheeks flushed red, clearly drunk, but she still mechanically poured wine, drank wine, then found pouring troublesome. Took the whole bottle and drank continuously. The phone beside her lit up and went dark repeatedly, until she grew tired of the constant ringing, reached out to grab the phone, but her eyes were blurry, seeing everything in double, tried to grab it several times but failed. Finally, irritated, she swung her arm. The phone was forcefully knocked away. A loud thud sound. The ringing stopped abruptly. The world returned to silence. Her heart finally calmed a bit. Jiu Qingli picked up the wine bottle again, took a swig, but there was nothing left. She turned the bottle upside down, out of wine again. She fell to the side, collapsed onto the pile of bottles. The bottles were ice cold, hard, digging into her body. When she fell, a standing bottle caused her sharp pain. She swung her arm, knocked over the bottle, fell again. Still not comfortable, but not as painful as her heart. Yi Chen, I was wrong. Please forgive me, she whispered, her consciousness gradually becoming hazy, until she sank into sleep. Jiu Qingli dreamed a dream. In the dream, when I was 16, I confessed to her. She didn't agree, but wasn't harsh either. Instead told me that you're still young. I don't know what this decision brings, so let's make a deal. Separate for 2 years. If after 2 years, you still like me, we will be together. During those 2 years, though not living together, we still kept in regular contact, like normal friends. No age gap, no sister-in-law title. When I was bullied, though she didn't come in person, she arranged for people to resolve it. To protect me, on my 18th birthday, I confessed again. Jiu Qingli, I've thought it through. I am not afraid of anything. I still like you. Very much. Very much. Let's be together. This time, she didn't refuse. We faced the gossip together, walked towards our future together. So beautiful, but not realistic. She saw herself in a wedding dress, smiling happily, running towards me. I caught her, said, Qingli, I finally married you. The dream was too beautiful, so when Jiu Qingli woke up, saw the stark white room, and Mrs. Gu beside the hospital bed, her eyes were still full of regret. Seeing Jiu Qingli awake, Mrs. Gu sighed with relief. What were you doing? running so far away, locking yourself in a room, drinking until unconscious. Do you know how many times your father and I called without answer? Do you know how worried I was? Mrs. Gus' eyes welled with tears. You're my only daughter. Do you know, when I pushed the door open, saw you wouldn't wake up no matter how I called, how scared I was? Do you know, when the doctor said you had severe stomach bleeding, if a little later, your life could have been in danger, how worried I was? Qingli, even if you don't think about yourself, can you think about your mother a little? Jiu Qingli was silent. After a long while, she finally mumbled, I am sorry. Qingli, come home with your parents. If you don't want to marry Yunzhou, then don't marry. Don't use your health to be angry at your parents, can you? Jiu Qingli opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but just nodded helplessly. What was the point of staying anymore? Yi Chen would not forgive her. Jiu Qingli lay on the hospital bed, watching the IV drip drop by drop. Just a little left. Mrs. Jiu asked the doctor. Jiu Qingli's condition was stable. After this she could be transferred. This time, leaving Frost City, perhaps for a very long time. She wouldn't return. Wonder if Yi Chen heard this news. Would he be happy? She would not bother him anymore. I learned about Gu Qingli being hospitalized for stomach bleeding after she was transferred back to the capital. Hearing she drank until hospitalized after the party, I was stunned. Looking at the message from Assistant Chen on my phone, I was silent for a long time, then asked, is she okay now? She's fine, just needs plenty of rest. Assistant Chen replied quickly. I sighed with relief. Then please remind her often to rest. Looking at the words young master, Yi Chen, don't worry, from the other side, I didn't reply. From then on, I received no more news about Jiu Qingli. A year later, it was again the season for welcoming new students. In the evening, I put down my phone, preparing to sleep. When the message alert rang, opening it, it was from Ye Jiwei. At the end of the month, the school is organizing a gala to welcome new students. Each club will contribute a performance. The drama club too. Would you like to register to participate? Is a play? I had never acted in an official play, only helped with miscellaneous tasks for previous performances, occasionally played minor roles. Not sure if I could handle it. At Yi Jiwei's invitation, I didn't accept immediately, though I had been in the drama club for a year, though I had acted before, but my acting experience was almost zero. Yi Jiwei's message quickly came back. Most members of the drama club when they first join have never acted before. All learn gradually from zero. Yi Chen, don't be afraid. I'll be by your side. Besides, there will be auditions for the play. Let's try first. If it doesn't work out, consider it preparation for next time. Reading her final sentence, I decided, okay, Wang Kun, and I will try. Getting the desired answer. Yi Jiwei was delighted, chatted with me a bit more. Seeing it was late, we wished each other good night. I tapped lightly on Wang Kun's bed frame. Wang Kun, are you asleep yet? Yes. What's up? Wang Kun opened his eyes, confused, not understanding why I was calling him in the middle of the night. I grinned. Sister Yi said at the end of the month there's a gala to welcome new students. The drama club will contribute a performance. Want to try together? Wang Kun heard about it, opened his phone to check the time, was silent for a moment. Can't this wait until tomorrow? Why wake me up in the middle of the night? It's already 1 in the morning. Meeting his reproachful eyes, I felt embarrassed, but still asked, so will you go? Yes, yes, yes. Can I sleep now? Wang Kun's voice was full of resignation, but finally agreed. I left him alone. The next day, after class, both of us went to the drama club to register. When we arrived, the play had just been chosen. It was the classic scene from Snow White. I only intended to choose a supporting role with more screen time, but Wang Kun pulled me, entered my name for the male lead, then wrote his name for one of the 7 dwarfs. Since we decided to improve, this time you play the prince. I'll play a dwarf. He was excited, eyes shining brightly, then pulled me before Jiang Qin. Sister Jiang, is Sister Yi also registered? Jiang Qin glanced at Wang Kun, looked at the registration form, saw my name for the male lead, then entered Yi Jiwei's name for the female lead. She's also participating. Yi Jiwei and I were clearly arranged for, looking at each other bewildered. Yi Jiwei looked at me, suddenly thought this was good. She originally wanted to get closer to me. That's why she invited me to participate. Now choosing the male and female leads, she had a reason to practice with me. Beginning of the month. Still a month until the end of the month. Quite ample time. Snow White's part focused on the first half. My part was the same. During practice, Yi Jiwei always coached me. I must say, for a newcomer like me, having someone experienced to help really reduced many mistakes. Also helped a lot with acting. After nearly a week of practice, the official cast list was finalized. Not many changes, mainly selecting and eliminating contested roles. The lead roles of Yi Jiwei and me had no objections. Wang Kun's role changed from a dwarf to the evil queen. This idea was suggested by me, since we talked about improvement. It couldn't just be me improving. Wang Kun didn't object. Before the final registration, he let me change his name to the evil queen. You chose a role for me. I chose a role for you. Very fair. After finalizing the roles, we needed to quickly choose costumes. This part was originally Jiang Qin's responsibility, but at this time, I looked at Yi Jiwei, holding a notebook, asking me, isn't this part Sister Jiang's responsibility? Why is Sister Yi also taking on this work? Yi Jiwei was slightly embarrassed. Sister Jiang is the president, too busy with many things. She noticed you've been practicing a lot recently, interacting with people more, so she assigned this part to me. I made a sound of acknowledgement, took the notebook from her, recorded my and Wang Kun's information. Usually, even for plays, just renting suitable costumes would suffice, no need to make new ones every time. But thanks to Gyu Group's sponsorship, the 4 years of my study here would be the most prosperous years for Hua University's drama club, from its establishment until my graduation. Jiang Qin was now in her 4th year. Actually, last year, Jiang Qin should have chosen a new president or let Vice President Yi Jiwei take over first, but she was reluctant. After all, having such a generous sponsorship, not only was it rare for the drama club, but all clubs had never seen such a big sponsor, completely disregarding costs or profits. Everyone saw GU Group was generous because of me, though I didn't acknowledge it. When asked about the relationship, I just answered directly, just a senior family member. 2 weeks before the new student gala, Jiang Qin informed me she wanted to nominate me as the new president. I was a bit surprised, though I knew the president position would definitely change this year, because in the 2nd semester of the 4th year, Jiang Qin would hardly stay at school. Even if she stayed, she would need to focus on her studies and upcoming internships. But I didn't understand why they ultimately chose me. Isn't Sister Yi more suitable? I was puzzled, asked directly. Jiang Qin smiled. You two really are in sync. When I asked Jiwei, she nominated you, and now you mention her. But in this matter, I agree with Jiwei's opinion. She is also in her 3rd year now. 4th year will be busy preparing for graduation, taking the position this year, leaving next year. Too rushed. You're just right. Moreover, Gyu Group sponsors because of you. You as president, no one will object. At first, hearing the reason related to Gyu Group, I didn't want to accept, but in the end, Jiang Qin persuaded me. If I didn't intend to cut ties with Gyu Group, accept the support meant for me, there was nothing to be shy about. Even if I called Gu Qingli a senior family member, there was nothing difficult to accept. Finally, I agreed to take the position, but the most important task now was the new student gala half a month later. This was my first time playing a lead role. To say I wasn't nervous would be a lie. Yi Jiwei and I grew closer day by day. On the day of the gala, I wore a white prince costume, stepped onto the stage. Ju Qingli sat in a row at the back, eyes full of regret. The invitation Jiang Qin had sent to Gu Group on behalf of the club. This wasn't the first time she watched the drama club perform. Or more precisely, every time I went on stage, she was always present. But each time, she just quietly watched from backstage to see me clearly, yet not bother me. This time, I played the lead. She wanted to be a real audience member, so chose an obscure seat and sat down. While lost in thought, the play had reached the scene where the evil queen tricked Snow White into eating the poison apple, making her unconscious. The 7 dwarfs found Snow White unconscious. Very heartbroken, the prince riding a white horse appeared, saw Snow White surrounded by the dwarfs. The prince took out a wishing stone, awakened Snow White, took her away. A voice off stage rang out. The princess followed the prince to the beautiful kingdom. From then on, they lived happily ever after. The play ended. The performance was very successful. When the curtain was about to fall, each of the 7 dwarfs gave me a small bouquet. When I received them all, it had become a large bouquet. Yi Jiwei, her eyes rarely showing nervousness, handed the bouquet to me. Snow White agrees to go with the prince, become his queen. So Yi Chen, do you agree to be my boyfriend? The unexpected confession made the entire auditorium boil. Cheers rang out continuously. Agree, agree. On stage, the 7 dwarfs, led by Yi Jiwei, pulled me in a circle. When the curtain completely fell, my words through the unmuted microphone rang out. I agree. Across several rows of seats, Gu Qingli lingered, watching the falling curtain, hiding our shadows. In the final moment, she felt I glanced in her direction, distant, untouchable.